Hello and welcome everyone. It's your boy BioBlame once again. Now, today I'm going to be talking about another topic, seeing as my previous video, which was talking about distancing yourself from video games, did much better than I thought it would honestly was going to do, to be completely honest with you. It seems like people are interested in these kind of topics. I love talking about it, just because I'm a ranter and a raver, you know. So I thought, why not? We'll go into some more topics, some more things that I want to talk about, right? Now, the next topic is the title of this video, Modern Shovelware, A Hunger Never Sated. Because I want to talk about modern shovelware, because it's something that doesn't really get talked about too often. Because let's be honest, right? Just be completely honest here. When people talk about shovelware, they're always talking about games from like the 5th, 6th, and maybe even 7th gen systems. I'm talking about the PlayStation 1, I'm talking about the PlayStation 2, I'm talking about the Nintendo Wii, right? The Nintendo DS, those were the systems that was so prevalent with shovelware. And whenever anyone talks about shovelware, they always seem to be talking about those systems. Even me, when I'm talking about shovelware, most of the time it's about those systems. So I tasked myself. I said, I'm going to play some modern shovelware. Where is this modern shovelware? Because believe it or not, shovelware is more prevalent now than it was back then. It is a much bigger thing now than it was back then. But yet you don't really see people talk about modern shovelware. And that's what I want to talk about today. So first off, I have some bullet points just like before. So I thought I'd put on. If you're wondering about the OST, Pro Backgammon for the PlayStation 1, perfect shovelware OST from a shovelware game published by Phoenix Games, Masters of Shovelware. So what is shovelware? Well, funny enough, the Oxford Dictionary seems to think shovelware is something that I wouldn't even classify as being the definition. But apparently this is the Oxford definition. I'll scroll it up. I got it on Google, right? Shovelware is a software or online content that has been added to a CD or placed on the internet without having been altered so as to suit the new medium. What does that even fucking mean? Suit the new medium. What the fuck does that mean? Right? So it's talking about content or online content that's been added to a CD or placed on the internet without having been altered as to so suit the new medium. That sounds more like freeware than anything. That sounds like you back in the 90s when you used to get a disc full of freeware, or early 2000s. That sounds like demo discs. Remember those? Found some of them recently, kicking about as I was sorting out all of my shit. So, remember Electronic Boutique? Oh. Man, I found one of those. I found a demo disc for one of those, even though it's not really a demo disc. Oh god, what is this? What is this track? Yeah, no, come on, Pro Backgammon. Give me something better. There we go. Beautiful. Oh, that sounds like detective music. Let's go. So would you honestly say that you would classify that as a definition to shovelware? I wouldn't, but that's what the Oxford Dictionary says. That's what it says. So it's a bit strange, because they're using it as a term for computing. But most people, if you even go on Wikipedia, right? Even Wikipedia says, just like one sentence, shovelware is a term for individual video games with software bundles known more for the quantity of what is included than for the quality or usefulness. Yeah, I would agree to that to some degree, right? But then also we have Reddit people, where obviously people are, which I do, I have a look on Reddit every now and then. Or if people, or somebody basically, how do you define shovelware? A shovelware is made for the purpose of making money and free trophies and often have no gameplay. And I think that is probably, in my opinion, what it means most of all, right? Something to be classified as shovelware is something that was pumped out, no real passion behind it, and it was just pumped out into the marketplace to basically just get easy money. like those Dingo Pictures video games by the Code Monkeys on the PlayStation 1. The fact that they were called Lion and the King, right? They were trying to get old grannies to buy them, thinking that they were the Lion King video game. Dalmatians 2. They're trying to get people to think that there was 101 Dalmatians. That they were Disney. It's a Disney video game. My son and daughter, they liked 102 Dalmatians, 101 Dalmatians. I'll get that for them. That must be one of their new computer games. So back then you could say that's the reason why. But what about now? I think the same reason now. I think it is exactly the same reason, right? Exactly the same reason. So we'll move on to the second point, right? What can be considered modern shovelware, right? Well, that's a good question. Well, I would argue that the definition that the old Reddit man said, purpose of making money, free trophies, I guess, whatever. I guess that is if you're into that kind of thing, and often have no gameplay. You only got to look on Steam to see plenty of games that have probably been made, made with next to no effort, dumped onto Steam in the hopes to make some money. Would you say that's a bad game? Well, yeah, but would you say it's shovelware? Hell yes. That is shovelware. Asset flips. That is a common thing you see on Steam. Would you say that's a shovelware? I would say that's shovelware. 100% shovelware. They have done that asset flip just so they can make easy money. Easy money. So that's what I would consider to be modern shovelware. And I don't know what kind of gameplay, because I don't have any gameplay going over the background as I'm recording this. But I played, right, some modern shovelware solely for this discussion. Right? And I've played, you could argue I've played others as well. But that's perfect. That's a perfect example of what modern shovelware is. Look at the asset flips on Steam. You only got to look on the Nintendo Switch eShop and see plenty of games that you think, what the hell is that? Click on it, and it looks like some kind of mobile game. That's another thing. Why port your mobile game to Nintendo Switch? To make money. Does it, but have you changed it enough for that? See, I would argue, I played Final Fantasy 3. Now, I know you may be thinking, whoa, that's a bit of a turn. I've played Chrono Trigger. Oh, God, he's even going off on a really weird turn now. No, I'm not. Look at the Steam releases. The Steam PC, the PC ports of those games. Now, don't get me wrong, Chrono Trigger's in a different place now than it used to be. But when Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy 3 were first released on Steam, they were straight up ports of the mobile port, the iOS Android ports. Now that's different now because they've added updates and they've changed things now, but back when they first came out, I would say that's shovelware because they've ported it onto the Steam, onto PC, just to make a quick buck without really putting any effort whatsoever into the port itself. So I would say, yeah, that's shovelware. Specifically that version of the game, shovelware. So I'm just trying to put out there that lots of different things can be considered shovelware. And the fact that we don't really use the term anymore is surprising to me. It really is. And it makes me want to use the term more. Because we should have. Just saying a game is bad, well, yeah, you know, there's still going to be some special eds who are going to go out there and play those games for some real weird reason, right? Even if it is unironically, right? There's going to be people that go out there and play those games. Buy those games. Well, it's less about, let's say, playing them, but buy those games, right? Instead of just simply saying, oh, that's a bad game. Shovelware. Why are you buying shovelware? Why are you buying shovelware? Why are you supporting shovelware? That's really strange. Do you like corporations? Do you like bad practices by these video game companies? Well, that's what it means to support shovelware. And that's what I mean. That's what I mean. That's what we should be using shovelware for. Brand something as shovelware and have it be like a taboo term within the video game industry or video game scene, whatever you want to call it, right? In the gamer scene. Obviously, I'm joking about that. Just by the way, for the whole entire gamer thing, because there was a comment on the previous video about don't use the word gamer. I will use the word gamer, right? My literal definition of gamer is someone who enjoys playing video games, right? So if you enjoy playing video games, I'm sorry, you're a gamer. And even the Oxford Dictionary backs that up. So the literal definition of what a gamer is backs that up. Just because some small minority has tainted that word doesn't mean you don't. You doesn't mean like, well, yeah, they've tainted that word. I don't care. Why do you care? Why do you care? If you don't like the word gamer, fine, don't use it. But don't get all, oh, why are you using it? Fuck off. I'll use whatever fucking words I want. Now, as I say that, I'm not trying to like start a fight with these people, right? I'm just saying that, why do you care about the word game? Why does the word gamer hold such a... the fact is, I'm in on the joke. You can hear me. When I say the word, I'm like, gamer. Like they would say like in, you know, esports or some like video game trailer or some movie trailers. So I know the joke, right? I make the joke, right? But why do you have such a asphyxiation with the word and its negativity? It's bad. It's a fucking word. God damn. Anyway, sorry about going on the old tangent, but I tend to do that quite often, right? So the point was just that pretty much I'd already gone into point 3. The term is not being used for modern games. That's what I don't get. I don't get why shovelware isn't being branded to these modern video games. And a perfect example of shovelware games, right, of recent year is I'm hopefully got these up and you've been seeing these shovelware games, right? Playing in the background as of me recording this video. Games like The Walking Dead Destinies, games like Lord of the Rings Gollum, right? I haven't played that game, and I probably haven't put any footage up for it, but that's a perfect example. Skull Island, Rise of Kong. A lot of these like kart racer games that they're putting out at the moment. What about some licensed movie games? Shovelware. Because they're not being made because it'd be cool to make a video game based off this subject matter. They're making the game solely for money. And you could argue and say, oh, but isn't that every video game? Don't all these companies put video games out to make money? Yes. Of course they do. You put a product out, you expect to make some profit and returns on it. But if you put... I'll give you a perfect example. If you put something like The Walking Dead Destinies out, right? Absolutely terrible game, right? Interesting concepts. I'm not going to blame the development team for The Walking Dead Destinies, right? I think it's more for the publisher, which we'll get into, because they had very little time to develop the game that they probably wanted to make, and there was some interesting ideas within The Walking Dead Destinies, but it was so poorly executed. That's what I mean. Those games. The games that like, oh, you got a year to make an open world MMO, and we expect to make super money on it. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Those people in that industry that are so special in the head that don't seem to think, oh, well, maybe that won't work. And you think, oh, no, it's just a one-off. But nah. Because it's these publishers. And we're moving on to the 5th point. Me giving you examples of shovelware publishers. Walking Dead Destinies, the new King Kong game, right? Skull Island, Rise of Kong. Some of the more recent kart racers, GameMill Entertainment. And I don't really want to throw GameMill Entertainment under the bus exactly, because they're also the ones that made the Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2. Well, the All-Star Brawl series. But that stuck, didn't it? That's what it is. That's the difference. That's what GameMill Entertainment's hoping for. They're hoping to make something that's going to stick. They're hoping they're going to push something out that's going to stick. And that stuck. Guess what didn't stick? Walking Dead Destinies. Guess what else didn't stick? Skull Island, Rise of Kong. Well, guess what else didn't stick? That Trolls game they made. Why did they make a DreamWorks Troll? Who cares? Who cares? But they made it, though. Who cares about DreamWorks kart racing? Guess what I do? I think that would be a cool game. Shrek. You get to play Shrek. The internet loves Shrek, right? But why do you have it play so shit? And there you go. That's the reason. That's what it is. That's shovelware. Even I would say Nickelodeon Kart Racers is shovelware. 100%. But that's actually okay, was it? How about the first game? Tell me what the first game was reviewed at. Well, tell me what the first game was thought of. First game was shit. It was dog shit. It was only in the second, but it must have sold well enough for them to go, well, if we make a second one, well, of course the developer, now with more fucking time, is going to make a better game, isn't they? Because you never know. Actually, it's not that you never know. I do know. And I'll use it as a reference point, just as a perfect example. Give me a second. I'm just gonna bring it up. Right? Skull Island. Skull Island Rise of Kong. And the reason I'm going on to here is just to give you an example, right? So if I go and I'll just put it as the Switch version, because they all came out all at the same time, and I don't want to see repeats of the same things again and again and again, right? So Nickelodeon Kart Racers came out in 2018, and who's to say that they didn't give them a year to develop that game? But do you know when Nickelodeon Kart Racers 2 Grand Prix came out? 2020. It came out in 2020. So they gave them... It's developed by the same people, by the way. I'm pretty sure. I'm just going to double check that just to make sure. Bamtang. Yeah, I thought it was Bamtang. Made by the same people. Well, what do you think Bamtang's going to do? They're going to get better. So who's at fault here? Oh, but Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3 is pretty good. Yeah. Sure. It is pretty good. But only because it sold well enough for GameMill Entertainment to allow Bamtang to have an actual reasonable development time to make the game. That's the only reason why. And now you look at like GameMill Entertainment's release schedule and you see, oh, in 2023, in the space of 3 fucking months, they released 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fucking games. NASCAR Arcade Rush, Avatar, The Last Airbender, Quest for Balance. That was terrible, wasn't it? Not Nickelodeon. Skull Island Rise of Kong. Pickleball Smash. Ever heard of that? Why do they even bother with that? I played it just because it's a GameMill Entertainment game, right? And it's why? Why was it even made? Who's gonna buy it? No one. DreamWorks Trolls Remix Rescue. Again, who cares? DreamWorks All-Star Kart Racing. Interesting. People would actually buy that. They probably would. But if it played reasonably well. Madagascar Kart on the PS3 plays better than that game. And funny enough, it's made by Bamtang, so what happened? Well, I don't understand how that game plays worse than Nickelodeon Kart Racer 2. How? I don't get it. God damn. And then obviously you got Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 and The Walking Dead Destinies. Out of all those games, one game was a hit. And that's what these companies do. That's why every single one of those games I just listed is shovelware. 100% shovelware. And GameMill Entertainment aren't just the only publishers doing it. You got Outright Games doing it. Outright Games is another perfect example. Outright Games loves making licensed. They're basically the modern day standard of Blast Entertainment now. Who asked for a Jumanji video game? I didn't. And it got a sequel somehow. And you remember the Jumanji game? Oh, the Jumanji game. Hell, I would even put out that Blast Entertainment's Jumanji game's better. Yeah, but it's interesting. You can take someone like Blast Entertainment, Outright Games, compare them to be exactly the same and go, wait a second, they both did a Jumanji game. How the fuck does that work? And somehow I would argue that the PS2 Jumanji game's better by Blast Entertainment. At least you could have a little bit of fun with that one. With the more modern one, looks like shit. Looks like shit. It got reviewed poorly. It's like, god damn, boy. So yeah, so it's just like I just don't get it. I just don't get it. So Outright Games is doing these kind of things. Outright Games is another terrible one for putting out these terrible kart races as well. Another perfect example is Microids. Microids is still around. They're still putting out games that no one asked for. Who asked for Garfield Lasagna Party? I didn't. But apparently that's something that people wanted. And that's the argument. That's the entire argument. Did you want a new Garfield video game? A new Garfield Sugoroku Mario Party-esque video game? No one asked for that. Why did they make it then? To make fucking easy money. Utilizing the Garfield IP. For these whack jobs out there that are obsessed with Garfield. Let me just talk to you on my Garfield microphone with my Garfield headphones with my Garfield monitor and Garfield branded PC. Look, it's orange. Those kind of whack jobs. So I'm just putting out there that there's plenty of shovelware publishers out there. I've just given you 3 examples. That's all I'm doing, giving you 3 examples. There's plenty of shovelware, modern shovelware games, and yet we don't use the term anymore. I just don't understand why we don't use the term anymore. It's like, it segues into another point of mine. Why do people buy licensed games? Why do you buy a licensed game? And what I'm talking about is like movie games, specifically, right? I can understand you buying a licensed anime game. I can understand you buying JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R. I get that. I can understand you buying Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4. Would I understand you buying Naruto de Boruto Shinobi Strike, Naruto de Boruto Storm Connections, whatever it's called? No. You've seen the, like, unless you bought that game day one, which again, I completely and adamantly against if you saw my previous video, you would learn that they literally no new content. So I've been following CyberConnect 2 for a long time. I know they're a competent development studio. I don't know why they released that like it is. So with anime games, you can get quality, but you don't just get quality, you can get shit like Jump Force. You can get the terrible anime, well, not terrible, maybe not terrible, but Konami was horrendous for just pumping out anime games back in the mid 2000s. They just loved it. Doesn't mean they were any good. And I'd even argue, recently, as of me recording this video, very recently, they announced a new Hunter x Hunter game by Eighting. And I'm like, cool, Eighting's competent. They know what they're doing. They're not exactly great. They don't make extraordinary fighting games, but they make decent fighting games. But then I looked at the art style and I was like, this game graphically doesn't look great. Why does it look like this? Wait till it gets announced for mobile. That's what I'm saying. I hope it doesn't. I'm pretty sure it ain't going to get announced for mobile, but why does it look like that? You know, the bar has been set now. I don't know. It's just, you know, I used to buy anime. I don't buy anime games anymore because they all just end up being arena fighters, which is just lazy in my opinion. You know, I got bored of arena fighters back in 2015. Come on. So I don't really buy anime games anymore. That's the reason why I didn't buy JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R, because I already played through the entire game on PS3 back in the day. Put Eyes of Heaven on Steam. Put Eyes of Heaven on Steam and I'll play that, because that doesn't look like it looks like a different kind of game than a normal arena fighter. But I don't even buy anime games anymore. So I don't understand when they announce that they got like, oh, Jumanji 2. Oh, in this case, DreamWorks Trolls Remix Rescue. Why would you buy it? It's based off a movie. It's like if they announced like a... I'm trying to think now. It's like if they announced a Dune video game, right? Obviously Dune, you got the new Dune Part 2 coming out this year, right? Imagine if they announced a new Dune video game. A lot of people would be excited. But for me, fair enough that you're excited. But at the same time, you should be skeptical because it's a licensed movie game. It's a licensed movie game. It's the same, you know, I could give so many different examples. You know, everyone said about Cyberpunk 2077. I'm playing it at the moment. It's okay. I got it on sale. You know, I'm enjoying my time. But I said to myself, I'm not playing it till version 2.0 comes out. Set yourself some standards. And yeah, I've experienced a bug here and there, but nothing game-breaking. So, well, actually, scratch that. There was one game-breaking bug, and I just had to restart a checkpoint. And that was right at the beginning of the game, getting in the passenger side of V's car. Obviously, because where the car is parked, you go to the closest door, and the closest door was the passenger door, not the driver's side. So I got in the passenger side, and obviously then crawled over to the driver's side, and the car wouldn't move. How is that not fixed? Don't know. Would I argue that really should Cyberpunk have been made in the Red Engine? No. Should have been made in Unreal Engine 4. Clearly the Red Engine can't handle certain things, like cars. Because one thing, cars don't drive well at all in Cyberpunk. Holy moly. But that's just one nitpick of mine. But what I'm saying is that I waited for Cyberpunk, and so should have you. And something like, if they did do like a Dune video game, licensed video game like that, why would you just not wait until it actually came out in the reviews, and then you could judge based on the reviews and the gameplay and be like, oh, I think I'll wait. Yeah, I think this game's $20. I'll wait until it's $20. So, oh, we went through the entire Pro Backgammon OST. God damn. But yeah, I'm just going to get some more music up. Let's get Cosmic Race. Track 10. Because there's only a few more points I want to raise before we'll be done with the old video. So my argument is why are people buying licensed games? Why are they buying movie games? I don't understand it. They are pretty much 9 out of 10 times guaranteed to be some kind of shovelware. Just don't buy them. It's just unnecessary. And I've got 3 more points to make before the end of this video. I don't want this video going for an hour like the previous one did. Right? My first is these are more like this first one's more of a question. Well, all 3 of them are kind of like questions, really. Is why do people buy shovelware? Is it because they're easy to play? Is it because they're just easy games? There's plenty of casual video games out there that you can play. The whole entire walking sim genre is pretty casual. The whole entire visual novel genre is pretty casual. Don't have to have much interaction there, do you? So you can't really argue that, oh, but these games are for babbies. They're babbies. What? I'd rather buy my kid Mario than buy my kid fucking Skull Island Rise of... Oh, no, actually not Skull Island. You know, Race for Ryan. How about that? That's another outright games kart racer that no one asked for. Even if my kid was a real big fan of what was it, that whatever game, like Toys with Ryan or whatever it is on YouTube, right? Channel. I would still not buying that. I'd say you're getting Mario Kart and you'll like it. So why do people buy shovelware? I really want to know. To me, I personally, it comes to the point of ignorance. I think people are just ignorant. They just don't. They're like, well, my kid likes video games, but I'm not going to do any research into what are good video games to make sure my kid plays some decent video games. Because I don't care about video games. I'm a boomer. I'm a boomer. I'm a boomer. I don't care about video games. Hopefully that kind of goes away as we go on, because we're going to actually have, you know, gamer parents going forward that are going to be like, no, why are you playing that? Why do you want to play that? Why do you want to play that video game? You're not going to play that. I don't want to play Bluey the video game. You don't want to play Bluey the video game. I'm getting you GTA 5. Oh no, I'm getting you GTA 6 and you'll like it. Obviously don't. I'm not saying for that, because it was a bit of Wild West back then when I was growing up with video games. Parents didn't obviously really know, so playing Grand Theft Auto at the age of like 8 on the PlayStation 1. Probably not the best choice. A bit of Dino Crisis. But yeah, so, you know, I'm hoping this will fade away. But is it, like, why? I just don't understand. Why? Is it because it's easy to play? And obviously you could have the argument, the second point I was going to say, you could have the argument of, but we market these games to children, and that's easy money. That equals easy money. Well, yeah, fine, but then why are these games selling? These games are most likely not being bought by the children themselves. They're being bought by the parents. And this then comes back to the parents should do a bit of research. Right? Go, you know, obviously they probably don't know what Metacritic is. Go on Metacritic and just go, oh, what's got really high review scores? Yeah, that one. I'll get that from my kid on the Switch. It's got good review scores. It's not difficult to do a little bit of research. And obviously, like I said, I know that these companies are pumping these out because marketing to children is easy money, right? That's a easy money. But it would be nice for a change if they didn't. And then finally, just a question to everyone listening, or everyone watching, whatever, however you're receiving this medium, right? This discussion. Would you buy modern shovelware? Would you? And you may argue, oh, but Bio, you've just showed me gameplay of all these games that, shovelware, you clearly bought them. Yeah, the Steam has a refund window of 2 hours of playtime. And I can get that refunded to my bank account, not just the Steam wallet. So, it's not really that bad. You could buy a bunch of games, play them for whatever purpose you want to play them for. I played, you know, half an hour. I tried to aim for half an hour for each of these games, and then I'll refund them. And there's even other ways besides that. Funny enough. So there you go. I wish that's one thing I will give credit to Steam for, and that's why I'll always be with Steam. 2 hours. I think that's a fair amount of time to know whether or not it's your kind of game. The only ones that are a bit difficult is RPGs with that regard, but yeah. Don't get that on PlayStation, do you? Don't get that on your Nintendo Switch. Don't get that on your Xbox, do you? So would you? Would you buy modern shovelware? Because I know I wouldn't. I know I wouldn't buy it. Even for shits and giggles, I wouldn't buy it. I would find another way to play it for free. Even if I just want to do it for the channel. Do it for the point of the video. I'll play it. I'll find a way to play it for free. And the way I just suggested via Steam is just one of those ways. Anyway, tell me what your thoughts are on modern shovelware. Right? I would love to hear what you think about modern shovelware. Because this is the whole point of these videos. They're like discussion videos, right? I would love to hear what you think. So, let me know. Thanks for listening if you made it to the end of this video. Thanks for listening to my rant, my nonsense that I go on about. Something. So it's just this therapeutic, you know what I mean? You just get this shit off my chest, you know. Growing up with the video game industry and having to deal with all this fucking nonsense. It's just nice to get it off my chest. You guys, stay safe. Look after yourself. And I hope you are happy with what's going on in your lives at the moment. I've been Bio, signing off. Bye-bye.